Well, it's worship day around here, and one thing we try to do on Sundays is take some extra time outside of our church worship to just read or reflect on a character quality or just something in our morality and civility that we need to be growing in. And I was talking with my daughter about winsomeness and the priority of Christians to be winsome, or is that a priority? And we were just noticing how the kids, as they all have their summer jobs, run into a lot of teenagers that aren't Christians or maybe don't know any Christians. And so they are really intrigued by the lifestyle that our kids lead and what interests them, what do they do for fun. And well, just very bluntly, like, why aren't you out having sex and doing drugs and drinking all day? Like, we do not meet any teenagers like you. And just the ability to train your kids to let teenagers that are different from them do that, spiritual, emotional, mental touching them, like tasting and seeing, is God good? Like, if they haven't been around someone that they can ask these questions and be direct with, then how are they going to ever taste God? And I appreciate that over the years and over time, my kids have learned to, not be offended by that, to just laugh. One of my sons said, the kid said, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I've just never met anyone like who has goals and is not running around and doing all these things, and I'm just so intrigued. And my son's been able to, share the gospel and encourage him in some other ways and they can laugh together, and he lets, the coworkers come and have more questions each week. And I would say that for each of my 3 kids that are at home right now, they're all in a different work environment with different kinds of students, but they're being peppered with sincere but shocked questions of what is it like to be a teenager who is living for Jesus? And just let people touch and feel that on them and say, I'm not, or even if I am making fun of you, can you take it? Well, my youngest one, he's only 15, and he said, they're like, are you religious? And my son's like, well, probably for what you're meaning, yes, I am. And he said, my son asked back, are you? And he said, well, I'm only the religion I need to be to get a girl. Like, if she wants me to be a Christian, I'll be a Christian. I'll be whatever they want me to be. And my son just, kindly said, or you could just be a Christian. And the boy said, oh, that would be too much work. That's hard. And my son just, again, politely, simply said, what would be hard about that? And it really stumped the boy. And he said, well, I don't know. And now he didn't want to talk about it anymore. But it was just a sweet, gentle way that God can open the door and your students can practice in a very unabrasive way, letting someone poke at them and them just seeing, God, would you open a door? Because later this young man said, well, I think people are just the religion that they had when they were growing up, and I never had any. My parents have taught me no religions. I don't know. And then he just, again, didn't want to talk about it, and he moved on. But I said, son, you're going to be working beside him, hopefully for several weeks this summer. And just like, what a fun opportunity. He finds you easy to talk to and to question and ask questions. And I'm hoping the reason he ever asked that in the first place is because he sees what's going on in the world. And he's a teenager who has no one to answer his questions about God. And he may have brought that up because he's wondering, what do other teenagers think? And what have they learned in their homes? You just don't know. And so anyway, we were just talking about the beauty of learning to be a Christian that's winsome and not easily offended, and can let people who don't know what you believe ask questions or even tease you, and just take it in a lighthearted manner, to know sometimes that's the only way they know how to break the ice. My kids would all say, it's a little bit of laughing at them, but honestly, it's a laughter that says, if I'll wait for it, they have some fears. If I'll wait for it, they have some questions. And they just want to know if I'm the kind of person that they can approach. So just brainstorm with your kids and your family and say, even though it's not easy to be different, if we're doing different in a winsome way, it just leaves people the opportunity to get some of their questions answered. And that's how we can be salt and light. So I'm just praying that we can look for ways this summer while we're out doing summer activities to be missionaries in America. And don't underestimate, your kids may be young, but they sometimes have a winsome honesty, or we can talk about that as families. And your kids can leave little seeds everywhere they go this summer, and playgrounds, swimming pools. If we're praying together with them, like let's pray with our kids. How can we leave seeds? Because if we're asking for the opportunity, God will give it. Have a great day.